right. Good evening, everybody. I'm going to try. I actually really debated on what I was going to play tonight, but I don't think Quest for Glory is a bad choice here. I do want to maybe mention off the top, and I'll probably have to mention this a couple other times. I didn't realize it was Easter weekend already. So that will mean that I will take the option of the Canadian holidays most likely, and just I'll take those days to myself. As always, I reserve the right to do a stream on an off day, but I really could use the extra time for myself and sort of recharge the batteries and such. I will confess I'm still not feeling 100% certain on this game in terms of navigating it, but I think I'm having a good enough time with the game that I can fill a couple hours. Because I'm not going to be streaming on Friday, I was debating on playing another game. It's actually one of the reasons why I'm streaming later than I was expecting, because I sort of havered between that and a couple of other games that I've been thinking. And I don't necessarily think, oh, nuts. Let's exit. So I think if I just do display capture, this will probably be the most sensible. But yeah, so I don't know. Like also I'm not lying when I say the sync takes a while on GOG. That's not good. Okay, here we go. But yeah, so I enjoyed this. I don't know if this is the sort of thing that I can like sustain for the full duration. I don't know. We'll see. I definitely feel like there are a few things I need to get a little more comfortable with. But yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to putting some time into this and just getting better. So the idea of this being the thing I play during the week, isn't too. It's not a hardship for me, let's say. Okay, so I believe we are at the start of the day. The fruit is very soft and juicy. It would be impossible to keep in your pack. Now, I was a little surprised. So, okay, goblin time. Your weapon is now magically charged. I'm going to try this again. Okay. Hostile intent is evident. You prepare for battle. At some point, I will... Okay, here we go. Oof. So it feels like the charge can be... Yeah, no problem, Valiant Cheese. Thanks for stopping by. For those of you who don't know, by the way, Valiant Cheese is a streamer and also game developer. I am definitely feeling the consequences of the kind of the old style for the game, but not to a point where I am disliking it. But anyways, I know you needed to go, so thank you for stopping by. Thank you for saying hi, and I am going to leave it to the rest of you to find out about Cheese's stuff. Okay, so I can't Can't be cheesy and get my health back that way. We'll still learn to live with consequence, but... Now, normally I wouldn't want to go right, but I am... One of the things I'm trying to do here is... this is one of the things, actually, that I quite like about the style. I really hope it's not going to kill me. Nope. That was a terrible decision. All right. Hostile intent is evident. You prepare for battle. Run for your lives! The Reaper is coming! But yeah, even though this is obviously a very old game, I realize this is a remake of the of an older game. But even though this is, you know, this is an older style, it communicates a lot of personality, which I like quite a bit. All right, I'm just going to make a quick note of the Cave of Death. And then I'm just going to verify on the screen that, yes, this is blocked off, so there's only 3 exits. The one to the left should only have 1 south. And basically, if it's anything other than a goblin, I need to run. Well, I mean, maybe I can try and... All right, hostile intent is evident. You prepare for battle. Uh-oh. You pick up a few small rocks. Okay, that's not what I was looking for, though. You search your opponent. What a waste! No treasure. So now seems like a really good time to save. So I don't want to recklessly do too much combat, but holy crap. Sorry, I just looked at my tablet. I really like that it tries to correct my terrible penmanship, but that was not even close. All right. So there's an unknown area to the left, which again, I can't necessarily afford to do too much combat right now, but I do want to open up. All right, this is good. So I believe the Dryad commissioned this one. Apologies for the delays. So in this case, I think I need to get a... Okay, I'm actually going to test something here. So I believe I need... I think it's... there's one that allows me to like grab stuff from the... like from the air. Now I'm going to try going right and up, just so I can try and get the map worked out properly. Okay. So this should just take me full circle. Goblin. Hostile intent is evident. You prepare for battle. You are so exhausted that everything you do hurts. Better get some rest. So this is probably going to kill me. Yeah. Okay. So I'm actually going to do something different then. I know how to get back to Irana's garden. Uh-oh. All right, so what I want to do here, first of all, let's see what time of day it is. So dawning on day 2. So obviously we're like really, we're already really tired for the first day's work. I'm actually just going to do a save 3. So what I want to get an idea about here, I want to look at my current character. So I'm at 10 out of 25, 4 out of 28, 13 out of 33. So that's health, stamina, magic point. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to take another rest. So for 10 minutes, after 10 minutes rest, you feel better. Let's see what better looks like. So that's +1, +3, +2. So, I mean, I suppose in theory I should just kind of play through it, but in this case I'm just going to see what so after 30 minutes so that's also +1 on the health, +7 on the stamina, +6 on the mana. So interestingly enough, in theory, well, I don't know that for sure. I was going to say, I wonder what happens if I do 3 10-minute rests, and it could just be that the health does its own thing. So 60 minutes. After 60 minutes rest, you feel better. So that's 2 health, 15 stamina, and 12 12 magic. So I imagine it's, I don't know, like I'm imagining it will be... I'm imagining that's representative. So for instance, if I want to get my magic points back all the way, you know, I can do that. I could do another 60-minute rest, but that would give me a little bit of a like too much of a surplus. I think stamina is the real limiting factor here. So if I were to do, so even if I got 10, that would be more than I need. So let's go for the 7 from a half-hour rest, and then try our chances You're too impatient to rest right now. Interesting. Fascinating. Okay, mid-morning. What are we looking at here? Right, character sheet. Okay. I don't know if this is proportional, so it could be that this like I get more for resting when I'm a higher level character. But I won't worry about it too much. Because part of this is just about working out the map. So again, I have an idea about what I want to do with this. Okay. So it seems to me like I can move in each direction here. I'll probably go south just so I can get an idea. Oh. Not until I deal with this rapscallion. Hostile intent is evident. You prepare for battle. You search your opponent, you find 3 silver coins and carefully place them in your pouch. I don't know if I need to save after every combat, but it does feel like a way of preserving some progress. Okay. So this feels like... So my prediction here is I go 1 to the right and then 1 south, and I wind up by the centaur. But in theory, the same would happen if I go south and to the right. Okay. So again, theory goes to the right, we get the centaur. And of course, further to the right, we get to the healer and then the town gate. Okay, cool. The centaur stops raking as you approach. The forest surrounds the farmer's small field and orchard. The crops have yet to be planted. There are only a few weeds and some grasses at the edge of the forest. To the east, you can see a small house. To the west, you see the forest. To the north, beyond the farmer's orchard, you can see the forest. It's a pine tree. It's a common bush. The majestic centaur watches you carefully. The ornamental vases are empty. 3 pots wait for the day when they will hold dirt and flowers. Okay. So I want to see what's sort of on the leftmost part of the map. At some point, I'll like take the time to properly annotate the map that I have here. But right now, it doesn't hurt for me to do just a bit of exploration. Okay, so that's worth noting that there's 4 directions on this one. This is an education in the sense that the map is under no obligation to be easy for me to draw. So let's see how far left we can go. Okay, I believe there were some sneaky goblins. So I'm treating this like I can move any direction. The goblin has a mean look in its eyes. You prepare for battle. Wow, you threw that dud goblin a long way. You find 5 silvers concealed in a pouch. You take the silvers. There's nothing. You are in the Goblin Central Combat Training Zone. You wonder where all the goblins are coming from, but don't worry about it. It's just one of those little unsolved mysteries of the universe. Okay, so apparently this is where I was supposed to learn fighting. Okay, also good to know there is... oh boy. I'm trying to find a good way to represent this on my tablet. There's no way I'm going to be able to draw this. Okay. Your weapon is now magically charged. Hostile intent is evident. You prepare for battle. All right. So this would definitely be a time where I want to go back to Irana's Peace. You find 5 silver coins and carefully place them in your pouch. It may not be a bad idea for me to check out the town as well. But I do still want to try and map out as much as I can. Okay. So I should probably take a second to just see what my gold looks like. 4 gold pieces, 51 silver. So that's basically like 90 silver. There seems to be an abundant supply of blue and purple meeps. If only they'd stay still for a moment, you'd be able to count them. Okay, so this one... down and right. Oh, crap. Okay, so I've got the mushroom area here. It looks like I can move all 4 directions. Pick a small handful of the smaller mushrooms and carefully put them away in your backpack. This used to be a member of a famous rock group, but it decided to split the scene. Right. So White Stag is here, and I think to the left would be the Dryad. You seem to have startled the White Stag. Oops. Again, you feel the same sense of closeness with nature. What a beautiful animal. All right, so I'm definitely getting a sense of direction here. One small complaint I have with my map making is that I didn't put a rightmost sign. This is actually going to take a little getting used to. Okay. Yeah, I'm potentially going to mess this up. So let me just take a minute here to write this out. This is the mushroom area, right? Nope, was one down below. So mushrooms should be one to the left just so I can verify. Yep. Now this is hard for me to parse. So is the sneaky goblins... Yep. Okay. Again, I'm going to need just a moment to clarify this a little bit. God, this map is so bad. Okay, now what does interest me here, though, is if I go one to the right, that means the top should be cut off. And it's not. Now my expectation would be that we see the centaur in this next area. Okay. I've definitely bungled this. So I'm going to stop taking notes. I can spend some time to just like, you know, undo all of this, but that doesn't strike me as the most fun to watch. So I'm going to see if I can work my way out of this. All right. I'm pretty sure I know where I am now. So if I want to get to Irana's garden or piece, I go, so left one, up, left, left, up, right. May not be a bad idea for me to run. Okay. So this wasn't like a full disaster as far as the adventure goes, but I'm definitely in need of some rest. So we'll do the 60-minute rest. I'm actually just going to take a second here and register my stats. So here we are 4, 6, and 5. So my expectation would be 6, 21, and 17. Okay, cool. I'm actually going to say another half hour would not go amiss. Interesting. Your directory disk can hold no more saved games. You must replace one of your saved games or used. I don't think that's true. Let me just take a click. I'm just going to double check that this is not like identified that I've somehow savaged my. Yeah, I think 300 gigabytes is enough. Oh, crap. Completely forgot. Okay, well, what I can do here, obviously I've saved a lot, so I'm going to... Oh, crap. I did the wrong thing for... So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the... all but the first and last of the save games. For each day, that is. Okay. I'm actually just going to do something real quick here. This is going to be not exactly a break, but I'm going to take a small moment here while I'm sort of loading the game up again. And what I'd like to do here is I'm actually going to try and clean up my map a little bit. So I do need a second just to bring the note-taking app up. I'm trying to think the best way for me to do this. Actually, I got a couple ideas. So sorry, it should be giving me access to my notes right now, and it's not. Okay. So I'm starting with the garden. I'm basically just trying to be a little more conservative with the space that I take up. Problem is that it looks like this map is a bit more horizontal than it is vertical. But I'll make this work. So what I'm looking at here basically is we start at the garden, and it looks like there's sort of a cluster of 3 screens below it. One goes to that cave fight, and then the other goes down to sort of another little trio below. And then to the left of the trio are the seeds. Then we go down from the cave. And then there's a mystery part of the map. Then there's something that should only move horizontally. And then there's sort of a question. I'm going to call it a question mark area because I haven't really explored it yet. So back to the spitting seeds. Those go down 1. Okay. So from this, basically with the seeds, there's like sorry, no, there's 2 other. Hey, Revive Snows, how are you doing? Sorry, there's not much to look. I mean, you can kind of see what I'm looking at here. This is basically what I'm trying to translate. It's not that easy to draw on the tablet while also playing the game, so my penmanship leaves something to be desired. But basically, I'm just trying to make this a little more coherent into a single map. So, like, this is kind of what the new version looks like. Penmanship isn't any better though. Okay. So I've got the centaur here. Oh, interesting. I actually think this is a lot simpler. So I think if I think about how this works, theoretically, if there's like a question mark here, there might be a path to the castle here. I could be wrong, but like it almost feels like, well, then again, like it's not like this game exists in space, right? There could be like 100 screens in between these, but okay. Almost done. Although the writing is pretty bad, so let me try that again. For those of you who are still hanging around despite this dreadful content, we've got Revived Snow in the channel, who is much more entertaining. Camless, voiceless broadcaster, and a heck of a lot of fun to watch. Okay, so this is the part where I'm getting a little turned around. So the thing that feels funny here is if there's no connection to the centaur, there probably shouldn't be a... There probably shouldn't be a screen there. I could be wrong, though. Got the mushrooms. And then one down from the mushrooms, there should be an empty area. Okay. So the last thing that I need to do here, so I've got the sneaky goblins. So there should be an area to the right. Sorry, to the left of the sneaky goblins that only goes down. Then that leads to... Oh God, what do they call them? I'll call them tribbles. They had like a special name. Okay, so the mushrooms should lead to an up and right screen. One below the mushroom is the white stag, and then one to the left there is the dryad. And then that leads me to all the question mark areas. So I'm not actually as lost on the map as I thought I was. I'm not going to delete this quite yet until Meeps. Thank you. Yeah, so the Meeps... the Meeps were a bit of a landmark for me. Okay. Oh, I blew it. Sorry, I gotta close DOSBox again. And we gotta wait for the sync. I do wish it would just let me directly capture the DOSBox screen, but it seems like anytime I tab out, I wind up with a teeny tiny screen, which again makes sense because it's the... I don't know, it's like the standard it's like the standard resolution, but it does make it hard for me to stream this. All right. Gonna wrap myself up in a blanket and let's see if we can make this work. Oh, Sierra's just the publisher of that, what is it, like that Half-Life game? Definitely what it's best known for. Okay, bring it. Hostile intent is evident. You can't do that. Seven silver coins. All right, well, let's see if we can go back to to the rest. Yeah, I mean, my health's not looking great, but I am curious to see if I'm curious to see if a full night's rest will fully cover me, but I'll save that for later. Now I'm gonna take a let's say a not guaranteed path, but it does help me explore the map a little bit. The one thing I was going to say, I wanted to explore the map most when my health was up, right? That seems like a really good time to use that particular resource. Now, obviously, I'm okay, so my prediction here, one down, which should be able to go either back up to the right or down. Now, if I go down, I should be beside the castle, but that doesn't mean I can get to the castle. All right. Hostile intent is evident. You prepare for battle. Uh-oh. What a monster! It was a tough battle and you lost. Never fear. All you have to do is restore your game and... What do you mean? Restore what game? So, same problem, right? We're running on fumes. Oh, hang on. This isn't where I want to go. Okay, as fun as it would... You know what? You only YOLO once. It's dead, of course. Doesn't smell very good either. What time is it? Sunset approaches on day 2. So, I don't think it's a bad idea for me to just, like, rest or, like, sleep for the rest of the night here. It's an early bedtime, but... This won't be fully representative, but I'm down, like, it's 2, 6, and 1, right? So I'm curious to see if a full night's sleep, like, covers all my stats or not. You sleep comfortably among the fragrant flowers. You awake as the sun begins to rise. Cool. So, obviously I'm not going to go out of my way to see. So, like, there's that goblin seemingly training area. I'm not going to go for that. What I am going to do is I'm going to try and explore a little bit of the map, but with the intention of getting back to the... Your weapon is now magically charged. Hey, stop that. Yeah, so this is a good example of the sort of thing I want to do, right? Like, this is an opportunity. Right now, this is the only way that I know how to make money. It allows me to explore the map, and I'm at the highest amount of health that I'm going to have in this current playthrough. Or not, well, sorry, not this playthrough, but this day. So if I'm going to, have encounters, it's also just a chance for me to... I wonder if I can... All right. Obviously, I want to minimize the number of times I get hit. But I also want to cast the spell so I can... I want to cast the spell so that I can get the experience with it. So if I was doing a better job, I'd be looking at like my character's overall capabilities here. I don't think my magic has gotten any higher since I started. And if nothing else, hopefully... Oh, now this is interesting. So... Yeah, I am blocked to the right, it looks like. I have to use the mouse, interesting. That feels quite costly as far as health was concerned, but more so magic actually. But again, I got some useful intel out of this. So, in theory, to the left there is the castle. Of course, we can't go through it. Now, my expectation is that the going up on this next screen won't be possible. Yep. Hostile intent is evident. You prepare for battle. Uh-oh. Yeah, so these things really only seem to be good for combat experience. They don't actually get you anything. Okay. So this seems to go in 4 directions. Now this one interests me. I'm curious if I can actually go to the left. All right, and that got me to the healer, so I know exactly where I am. Now, I seem to recall she was looking for some... You politely knock on the door. After a moment, you hear the inside bolt slide open. A voice from inside says, "Come on in." So if I recall correctly, we can trade for the fragrances of herbs mingle with some rather unpleasant odors as you step into the healer's house. "Lovely day, isn't it? My, you look very healthy for an adventurer. You must be new." "What can I do for you?" "I can sell you healing potions if you like." "I also buy spell components if you are interested in gathering some for me. Don't mind me, I always have so much to do around here." So, I don't recall if we talked with her in this save or not. "These are very nice. I'll dry them and grind them into a powder." "Pay me!" "Thank you. I can always use flowers from Mirana's peace in potion making. Here are your silvers." Okay. I feel like this... I mean, so theoretically at the healer... Oh, by the way, if you happen to find a ring on your adventures, I lost my favorite gold ring. I will give a reward to the one who returns it. So in theory, if I go down, I should find the town gate. Cool. All right. So I'll take a look at all the other places I can go. Actually, can I go south? Yes, I can. Okay. There was one thing I forgot to do. If I recall correctly, this sort of stuff matters for your points. I want to visit the magic shop anyway, but... Actually, I guess I can just walk on this, right? Nope. So I think I signed this, but I don't think I read this. But you've already done that. Yep. The writing on this page is very recent. It says, "I, Cromwell, have come to Spielberg to become a hero." This entry was made several years ago. It says, "Baronet Bernard von Spielberg killed a troll near the Flying Falls on this 23rd day of October." The other pages record the exploits of the great adventurers of Spielberg's past. The names Wolfgang Abenteuer and Baron Stefan von Spielberg appear most often. The remaining pages are blank, awaiting further tales of adventure. Firewood will serve more purpose here than in your pack. You feel like you're frying your fingers. Forget it. Okay, now seems like a good time to do a new save, for the simple reason that I may spend more money than is reasonable. entrance. So you return to my shop. Ask me what you will, but keep it to the point. Alright, so fetch seems to be the big one that I want. As you read the spell scroll, the spell is ingrained in your mind. Let's go for open. So 6 gold pieces. That'll basically clean me out, but, I mean, it's fire, right? So I did see a little... There's 2 things that I can do with the fetch. Also, I haven't actually checked out the other parts of the town yet, so... Welcome, welcome, traveler, to the Hero's Tale Inn. I am Shamin, at your service. May you find what you seek here. You see a small cat-like creature known as a kata. You've heard that katas are common in the southern deserts. A well-fed fire purrs happily in the fireplace. This looks like an alpine inn, complete with dishes on the wall and heavy beams on the ceiling. It is pleasantly warm, and the aroma of strange spices fills the air. Collection of designer plates loaned to the Hero's Inn by Mary Meister. This is the brighter candle. This is the idiot half-brother candle. It's only half bright. The tables look like they've been rough cut from some of the local pines. This authentic Polynesian mask is far, far from home. One of Hiram Plugmeister's double-barreled spittoons. You see an assortment of tools used to maintain the fire. The odor of cooking food wafts through the curtains. Very good food, very good drink, finest in town. Sit, rest, you will be served by my Shema. Ask about a room. Very nice room, very soft beds, finest in town, only 5 silvers a night. About food. Very good drink, finest in town. Sit, rest, you will be served by my Shema. My friend Abdullah is recovering from his robbery last week. He should be here around supper time. Okay, so obviously this game does pay attention to time. Tell me about the robbery. Alas, the brigands stole all of Abdullah's wealth and mine own when they robbed his caravan. Now I will be forced to stay in this wet, cold land. I know little about the brigands, except that they must be wealthy now. I hope to return to my homeland with the profits Abdullah, Shema, and I would make from the caravan. Now I fear we will remain here unless someone deals with the brigands and returns our stolen trade items. Ask about this shape here. A land of golden sand and tall mountains, a city of tall buildings and winding streets. A place where kata can bask in the sun as they sell things in the bazaar. It is our homeland and a place we long to be. Ask about the caravan. In my homeland, a caravan is the only way to travel from city to city. Tell me your name. I am Shamin, a poor unfortunate, forced to seek a fortune in this cold land far away from my homeland and my Kata people. We live in the south in the desert lands of Shapier. Someday we may yet return there. We are a race of desert dwellers and wanderers of the endless sands. So we've read that before. Tell me about the town. Spielberg is a sad place for an innkeeper, for few travelers visit because of the brigands. This is a cold land for a Kata. He comes in with his wife sometimes for food. He is very wise and generous. What about Otto? There is no end to the food that one can eat. Tell me about the inn. This is the Hero's Tale Inn, where Shema and I will be delighted to serve you. The softest and safest of beds, the richest and finest of foods awaits you. You have but to command. And Shema? Shema is my beloved, and she can cook and keep an inn as few others. When she dances, there is true magic. If we ever return to Shapier, then she will again dance. If you could just give me a quick second here. I don't know quite how I'm going to handle breaks on this stream, just because I know each time I tab out of the game, I have to I have to reload it effectively. And I'm not quite ready for a break now, but I'm probably going to have to. I'm probably not going to be able to do the full duration. So, but if you can just give me a quick second here, I want to check in on something, and then we'll be back. For those of you who either have just joined us or haven't seen this game before, I'm curious what you think about it. I feel like I'm making a little more progress with this, given that I know to basically run from everything. So I'm feeling a little more confident in my movement, and I feel that I have a little more purpose because I'm drawing out the map and such. But I'm interested in people's feeling. I guess the thing is that right now I've just been wandering around the map, doing bad. I'm not really sure the reason why we watch this is to see the battles. So I'm a little curious how people feel about the game so far, because I'm in this weird situation where I feel like I'm making more progress for myself personally, but that doesn't translate into stuff that's happening in the game necessarily. So what you got? And again, you don't always necessarily have to be constantly moving forward on this, for it to be a worthwhile game. But I'm a little curious in terms of how this is registering. Sorry, almost done. Okay, let's see if we can. You see a sign that says, "Please don't touch." Besides, Shamin is watching you. All right. As much as I'd like to interact in the inn, maybe this isn't the time for this yet. So, before I go further into the... Oh god, I'm almost dead. The door is locked. You can smell apples as you approach this corner. Good day and welcome to Spielberg. Would you like to buy some of my nice fresh fruits and vegetables? You see a charming young centaur with the upper torso of a teenager and the body of a filly. I am Hildy, daughter of Heinrich Pfefferdin. Sorry, I'm bad with this. Ferdefendern, the farmer. Tell me about your father. Farmer. My father is a fine farmer. My father is Heinrich Ferdefendern. We have some land to the north of town. It isn't very big, but we grow many things. You should be here during harvest time. Then you would see many fruits and vegetables. My mother has been dead for 3 years now. I still miss her. Thank you, but my father thinks I'm too young. He would not permit it, but perhaps next year. I didn't think it was like, go on a date, but I probably should have thought that through. Market. This is where I sell things from my father's farm. Okay, farm was the same, right. Tell me about the vegetables. We have many kinds of fresh vegetables for sale today. There are carrots, rutabagas, parsnips, and potatoes right from the ground at 5 for a silver. They're very good for you. We also have some apples. Tell me about the apples. There are still some apples left from last season in the barrel. You may buy 10 for a silver, since they are so small. Carrots? Carrots are my favorite vegetable. They're so crisp and sweet. Rutabagas. Rutabagas keep well over the winter months. Parsnips? Parsnips can be made into a tasty pie. Turnips. Turnips are good if you cook them in stews. What about the brigands? Are they good when you cook them in stews? They have twice robbed my father of his money, and they have tried to steal our food during this winter. That is because we farm outside of town. The brigands should not dare try that in town. The sheriff would stop them fast. Many robbers ran up to father as he trotted back to town. My father tried to fight, but they hurt him badly. Then they ran away to the southwest. Our sheriff is very brave. He told me so himself. All right, I do want to buy vegetables and such, but maybe now is not quite the time. Horse feathers? This looks like a dry goods store, but it smells like a musty library. The stove feels nice on such a crisp day. Behind the counter and on the shelves, there are a variety of items for sale. The shopkeeper appears to ignore you while he reads a book. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't notice you coming in. My, you look like an adventurer. We don't see too many around here. The brigands tend to get rid of most adventurers before they make it to town. I do try to stock some things adventurers can use. I actually would rather be an adventurer than a shopkeeper, you see. My items are pretty ordinary, though. You probably already have most of them if you've done any adventuring at all. The shopkeeper is a small, balding man who wears glasses. He looks as if he can barely lift the book he is reading. Judging from his clothes, he is fairly well-to-do. The matador's red cape recently repaired after he waved it in front of a minotaur. The jars of beets and sauerkraut look like they were canned locally. You see bottles, jugs, and canned goods more useful to a housewife than a hero. There are barrels of flour and salt next to the counter. There also seem to be jars of pickled pig's feet, linen cloth, and lots of other things in which you have very little interest. Behind the counter are weapons, armor, and such equipment as you would more often find in an adventurer's shop. On the counter and the shelves are assortments of canned goods, honey jars, sewing items, and odds and ends that people would need in a small town. These look like oversized shields suitable for ogres, goons, and frost giants. This is the door to the back storage room. The barrels appear to be filled with flour and salt and look rather heavy. None of the clothes look like they would fit. There are some wooden poles leaning against the wall. Clothes come in two sizes, dwarf and goon. The stove is burning merrily away, making the shop seem almost too warm. A large lumpy sack sits by the wall. Proprietor's teapot. Tell me your name. Why, that's me, Casper. I've always wanted to be an adventurer. I read about them all the time. The book I was just reading is about adventuring. Oh, this book? It's about an adventurer who's trying to become a hero. The title is Quest for Glory, A Hero's Death. Unfortunately, I have only standard weapons and equipment. I carry daggers and chain armor. Maybe someday I'll be able to carry magic ones, though. The use of the dagger is a most skillful art. Actually, this particular weapon is longer than most, but is still easily concealable. A bargain at 20 silvers. You can get really good protection from my chainmail armor. It's very heavy, though, and I would have to charge you 500 silvers for it. Adventuring rations aren't the tastiest food in the world, but they will keep you healthy and alert as you go along. A pack of 10 rations will cost you just 5 silvers. It's a very good idea to carry an empty flask or two in case you want to pick up a liquid or something else that needs a container. Our flasks are a great bargain at 2 silvers each. I don't like to talk about other people behind their backs. And the sheriff? The sheriff and Otto protect this town. The sheriff used to be a real adventurer, you know. And Hildy? Hildy sells fine produce for a reasonable price. All right, I will buy a couple things here. There you are. Thank you for your patronage. We'll maybe do 3. And then food. There you are. Thank you for your patronage. All right, so what are we looking at here? 14 food rations, 3 empty flasks, 1 leather jerkin, and a partridge in a pear tree. There is no response. The lock is of a simple type. Your spells don't seem to work here. Damn! The shop seems to be closed, although there are some dried up cupcakes on the window. There is a sign on the door which says, "Gone fishing." The shop seems to be closed. There is a sign on the door that says, "Gone fishing." Looks like the door to the tavern. Actually, may not be a bad idea to save here. Ah! Okay, I'm actually glad that I saved there. So usually if I skip something, I don't have any way of getting it back, so there we go. The grimy window lets little light into this tavern. It smells like stale ale and other more unpleasant things. The floor is covered with dirt and the bar with sticky beer. Smoke appears to be rising from the center cask behind the bar. To your right, 2 gamblers are playing cards. The bartender glares at you as you enter, and so does the ugly goon on the left. You get the impression that you are not welcome. You see a crumpled piece of paper under the stool. It looks like something you'd expect to see in a tavern, but a little dirtier. That's a mighty unusual keg there. From the size of the ancient oak cakes, you surmise that the drinking of large quantities of beverages is the main pastime in this establishment. So this is where the barber has lunch. That guy's had so much to drink, he looks embalmed. This bartender looks tough from his crew cut to his boots. The only thing soft about him is his tattoo, which says Mama. This goon looks really tough and mean. He's not someone you'd want to fight. The butcher is wearing a blood-stained apron. He seems to be deeply involved in the game. The baker seems to be deeply involved in the game. They seem to be using old maid cards, but it looks like these guys aren't playing with a full deck. You pick up the note. You smooth out the piece of paper and read. B. He's starting to get suspicious. Hold off on our meetings for a bit, but I'll keep you posted by these notes. B. Ask about the butcher shop. There's not a whole lot of meat in town for me to butcher these days. Now, if someone would just bring down that stag in the forest. Got any 369s? The cards, they've been very good to me. Go fish. I'm Butch Beefmeister, the butcher. Got any 379s? Tell me about the fish. There's a river to the south by the Flying Falls which has some good-sized trout. Go fish. Ask about the bakery. I haven't been able to get any supplies since the brigands closed off the area. The bakery will reopen as soon as I have some. Got any 871s? The butcher has been getting all the good cards. Go fish. I'm Silas Sourdough, the baker. Mirror Lake to the south has a huge fish, but it's pretty dangerous. Got any 454s? Ask about Crusher. The goon seems to be ignoring you. Go fish! Tavern? You seem to have annoyed him. Ask about the goon. Crusher bares his teeth at you. Either you are in big trouble now, or that's just his way of smiling. I should have checked to see what my health looks like. Ask about the Thieves Guild. What's the password? Ach du lieber, Schweinhund, Antwerp, Rheingold, Deutschmark, Purple Saurus. The goon seems to be ignoring you. The drunken barber at the end of the bar isn't in any shape to talk, at least not coherently. Bartender's ignoring you. Maybe you'd better sit down first. What do you want? Your name. This is a bar. I serve drinks. You want a drink, order one. You want answers to stupid questions, get out. Tell me about the drinks. Ale, 1 silver. Troll Sweat, 5 silver. Dragon's Breath, 25 silver. Take your pick. Ask about the ale. Good for what ails you. What about the Troll Sweat? It'll go down real smooth. And the Dragon's Breath? It's the house specialty. Tell me about the town. What do you think I am, a guide dog or something? Tell me about the tavern. This is the Aces and Eights Tavern, stranger. And Crusher? Don't like his personal affairs discussed. My advice is not to do anything that'll get him upset. Looks like this door has been closed for a long time. The door has been barred and nailed shut. The workshop has long since been abandoned. You can't seem to open the door. It might be locked. This grubby place must be an alley. It feels strange here, colder than the rest of the town. There are some barrels discarded here. A beggar holds out a bowl towards you. Alms? Alms for the poor? A thin man with very patched clothing holds out an empty bowl. It's the standard beggar's bowl every beggar is issued when he graduates from an accredited beggar's school. Thanks. You know, it's really tough trying to make a living begging in this town since the brigands started scaring all the trade away. This used to be such a nice place to live. My advice to you is not to take up begging. It just doesn't pay. And don't go out at night. Tell me about begging. A beggar gets cash only when others get cash, and nobody's got much money here right now, except maybe the brigands. Tell me about cash. There's honest work up at the Baron's castle, I hear, but begging's my business. Tell me about work. You can get a job cleaning the stable, I understand. It's great if you want to build up muscles or have a place to spend the night, but you won't get rich. I'd rather beg myself. Tell me your name. My name's Sam. I've lived here for 5 years now, and I think I'll be heading on once the pass clears of snow. There's supposed to be some good begging towns to the south. Nice talking to you. Alms for the poor! Alms! Tell me about the south. Heard Silmaria is a good place to be. It's by the sea. Think I'll head there after this. Tell me about Spielberg. Understand this used to be a great place to be. Traders coming in and out, tourists coming and going. Perfect begging conditions. Things were just starting to dry up about the time I got here. Just my luck. The brigands started getting tough. About time I got back to work. Alms for the poor! Alms! Alright. Early model of a hot dog stand. Or could it be a hamburger stand? The barrels are empty. One smells of sour beer. Another barrel reeks of troll sweat. The walls seem pretty normal, but there are some curious marks on the north ends of the buildings. Nice place. How does this guy expect to make a living begging in this alley? Presumably, this is related to the Thieves Guild. Word of warning to you. Don't drink the dragon's breath. I have to now. What do you want? One dragon's breath. What are you doing coming into my joint with an empty purse? Wait, really? I don't have enough for a dragon's breath? I'm a poor too. Okay, I have a rough idea of what I want to do. The first thing I'll try is to use my fetch. I haven't necessarily tried the castle yet, but so I believe if I go north, I should get back to the healers. And I did notice something about the bird. All right. So there's like a little glint up here when I first visit. The creature looks more like a small flying lizard than a bird. I could be wrong, though. It could have just been the motion of the bird. So. You take the lovely gold ring from the nest. You place the ring into your pack and the nest on the ground. Any way I can send that back? The spell is no longer useful here, but you did get some practice. You politely knock on the door. After a moment, you hear the inside bolt slide open. A voice from inside says, "Come on in." What can I do for you this time? You have one gold ring that weighs 0.1 pounds. Oh, thank you for finding my ring. How I've missed this. Here are your 6 golds and 2 healing potions for your reward. I am good at video games. You put the reward away, and you tell her she is welcome, as you leave to avoid being kissed again. Okay, so I think probably at this point there's one other place I would like to go. So if I go to the left, I should see the centaur. How am I for stats? I've got like nothing for magic. Actually, I may not have enough to cast the centaur stops raking as you approach. Yeah, that's going to cost 5, so I should go to Irana's garden then, which is basically straight north, one to the right, and then another north. And then I'll probably need a short break once we get to Irana's piece. Under normal circumstances, I would want to check out the other parts of the... No! What are your lives? So this is where I want to go eventually. The sweet, juicy fruit of the tree is amazingly satisfying and refreshing. And we'll go for an hour rest. After 60 minutes rest, you feel better. Okay, mid-afternoon. And this doesn't seem like a terrible place to do a small break. Yeah, I guess the only catch here... I still have a few more minutes. 10 minutes is too long for a break, so I'll try and go a little bit further, but... Oh, actually, I should also be looting the place. As you pick a variety of the sweet-smelling flowers, they seem to glow in your hands. You put them away safely away. Take another handful of the lovely, fragrant flowers. You have all the flowers you need. Okay, so I'm gonna run for your lives! I actually really can't afford too many fights, it seems. I mean, fighting the Saurus isn't really going to move the needle that much, just because they don't give me any cash, which is what I'm short on right now. But I don't know, where I can, it would be nice to try and have a little more to show for it. I am curious. 15 magic points. Like, I do want to use the... Okay. Search your opponent. You find 7 silver coins and carefully place them in your pouch. I am really hoping I didn't waste... Oh, just enough. You get into a good position. You lose concentration and the spell fades. You will have to practice some more. Hello, Vanguard Master. All right, I actually have to go for a little bit. So I'm going to... I can't really tab out or put any of the... do any of the other stuff, so you're just going to have to hear me shuffling around in the background. But I will try and keep this break short. Now would not be a bad time to get up and get something to drink. Otherwise, take care of yourselves. And I'll try to be back within like 5 to 10 minutes. See you then. All right. I just got I didn't like make a dinner for myself, but it wasn't enough. So, and I apparently can't manage, so I just ordered something in. So, I will find some cutlery. I'm not going to eat the whole thing while I'm here, but just so you know, I am back momentarily. You know, I wonder if in future I could just change the directory and have a bunch of other like levels to play. Anyways, I'm just gonna take a couple bites and then we will be back to playing. Good lord. I ordered milk, but I'm pretty sure I've got chocolate milk. Damn it. All right. Well, that's life. I realize that is not like a common complaint, but that was not the taste I was looking for. Okay. Just one more second. Sorry about that. The wolf's still at the door, but his tail is wagging, so I may take a couple of bites between sessions, but you've all been very patient with me. I guess the like I have time left in the day. It's not like I have a lot to I don't necessarily have a lot as far as resources go to, I don't know, like there's not a lot of opportunities for me to like fight, but at the very least I can sort of map out the rest of the level. Okay. So the one thing I can say is I am getting close to a point where I've written down most of the places I want to go. Okay, does this mean that I can't go to the left? No, I can. Now if I go down, that should lead me to the sneaky goblins. There's no path to the west, only bushes. If I go to the north... Sacre bleu! Oh, Baba Yaga, right? Looking around, you get the feeling that this is not a very friendly place to be. Baba Yaga does not welcome strangers. You have to deal with me before you can enter. Baba Yaga is one tough magic user. If you're so stupid that you want to enter, perhaps we can make a deal. The large skull on the gate seems to stare vacantly at you. The skulls on the top of the fence have eerily glowing eyes. The large skull on the fence seems to stare blankly at you. Tell me about Baba Yaga. Baba Yaga is the most powerful ogress around. If you have any brains, you'll stay away from her. Ogress? You're some hero if you don't even know what an ogre is. Tell me about the hut. Baba Yaga's hut will squat if you say the rhyme. What rhyme? The hut will squat if you say, Hut of Brown, now sit down. You said something about a deal. All the other skulls have glowing eyes, but me? No! I don't need lovely glowing eyes. Just open and close the gate, that's all I'm good for. If you can give me a glowing gem for my eyes, then I'll let you in the gate. A deal or isn't it? I'm not sure. No gem, no entry. That's the deal. I am slightly curious if I just try to fight this thing, what happens. I lose my knife is what happens. Alright, well, that's good. That's more or less closed off the map on one side for me. So now I want to head down. I may wind up in a... Ah! I could die. Yeah. So here we'll walk around the edge. We theoretically can survive one goblin attack. Search your opponent, find 8 silver coins, and carefully place them in your pouch. Now, the one catch here is I've gotten a little disoriented in terms of where I am overall, but I should be able to reorient myself. So if I go 1 to the left, it should be open, and then mushrooms 1 below. Okay, cool. Do I just get to pick infinite amounts? Okay, so I'm going to go 1 to the right. So that's the last sort of known area I have. And then 1 more to the right will take me to a new area. Okay, so that seems to have 4 directions. Now I'm curious if this upper area... Interesting. This must be the town graveyard. What a rundown place. I think I messed something up. It's certainly creepy here, even during the daylight hours. I do want to come back here, but I'm very curious. So if I go up 1... Okay. So then the next question is, a red root growing out of one of the graves has a strange and evil appearance. If I go one to the right, cool. Pretty sure I can fill in the rest of the map here. The fruit on this tree is withered and swarming with hornets. You think better about picking it. So if we head down, I believe it was in 4 directions. No, it was not. So if I go all the way to the left, that will take me back to the Dryad. If I go to the right, it should take me presumably to a 3, like 1 left, 1 right, 1 up. Let's see if that actually turns out. Sunset approaches on day 3. Okay, as expected. So if I go up, it should be the wall. Yep. Oh man, I was not paying attention. This may actually prove a bit costly. Oh god. Okay, now I think that tree stump is noteworthy. The hollow log looks somberly back with its single giant eye, and you know that that nothing is to be gained by investigating this gaunt relic of a more vertical past. So this next one should take me to the town gate. Yep. Let's prepare just in case the bandit's still hanging around. I was really close to having a pretty good map, and then I started panicking. Okay, so this should be the wall. If I go to the left, that should also lead me to the wall. Aha! You see your own reflection in the crystal clear waters. The rocky shore is blissfully relaxing. You see a lovely waterfall in the distance, feeding the lake with ice-cold mountain water. I don't need to run. Lake water tastes pretty good, if a bit flat. Well, let's just get a soda stream in here. It's the beautiful Spiegelese or mirror, or probably Spielglasse or mirror lake. You pause for some peaceful reflection. Oh, right, healing potions. You fill a flask with clear lake water. You've been walking through the forest this long and you can't even recognize a tree? Alright, there doesn't seem to be that much to do here. Oh, that looks suggestive. To the north on the cliff, you see a cave. Interesting. The roar of the waterfall fills your ears, and the cold spray dampens your face as you approach. So I'm just going to change the name here. Lake Falls. The door is built into the face of the mountainside. You suspect that the person who lives behind it treasures privacy. It's a large door. It must open pretty wide. The water seems to be trying to fly as it leaps from the mountain above. A river plunges for more than 100 feet down the face of a cliff. You see slick vertical cliff walls. A doorway has been built into the side of the cliff. The water gracefully flows towards Mirror Lake. The water is white as it splashes against the rocks with great force and purpose, and disappears into a narrow canyon to the south. The rocks are too slick from the spray of the waterfall for your limited climbing skill. Well, it was worth a try. You already have some. Don't be greedy. Yeah, it's just going to do the same climbing effort here. All right. I'm sure there is something spell-wise that I can do with this, but let's fill out the rest of my map. Okay. So that's actually filled out most of the areas that I need. Like, I have a pretty good idea of the places that I can and can't walk to. It's actually the right-hand side of the map that, basically the spot that I'm at right now, that has the remaining sort of question marks. Okay, now this interests me. If I go to the left... Okay, that's the town gate. So I left a bad marker here in the sense that it should go in 4 directions. So the one to the right was listed as a mystery, but I don't actually think it is a mystery. Yeah. So there should be a snowy area to the right. That is other than this existing snowy area. Yeah, and then that's blocked off. Now this is also not leaving a lot of places for that bandit camp. Okay. So that one's the Frost Giant. Run for your lives! Night is still young on day 3. So I should probably... Dope. I wasn't paying attention. Crap. That was close. You know, for how lethal combat is in this... Oh. Do a quick equipment check. Everything seems to be in place. Okay. I was under the impression... you know what? I don't think it'd be a bad idea to get a save in. I'm feeling a little unsure of where I am overall. Okay, so I should be able to go one more left, then up, then right. I'd rather not risk it. Dinner time! You sleep comfortably among the fragrant flowers. You wake as the sun begins to rise. So this should get me full stats. It does indeed. Okay. Just gonna overwrite this. If you don't mind, I'm just gonna take a quick bite. Okay, sorry about that. I'm trying to do like a proper duration, but I also need to like tend to the fact that I can't take a break, and well, I mean there's this, but like can't do the normal break that I do. While also recognizing when I'm hungry. Okay. First thing I want to do is see everything here must be bolted down somehow. No amount of physical effort will be able to move this stone. You get no response. Mumble, mumble, overwork, mumble, underpaid, mumble, mumble, no control over my life. I know it said there was like a mystery, or like a puzzle or something. All right, let's go for a walk. So this doesn't seem like the most exciting thing for me to do, but I am kind of reflecting on like the tasks, and right now getting the seed for the dryad seems to be the most obvious one in front of me. That is constrained by the magic, and the question for me right now, so if I take a look at that spell, so you possess the fetch spell, your expertise is 9, you will use 5 magic points. So at this point, I want to just use this. You get into a good position. You lose concentration and the spell fades. You'll have to practice some more. Yeah, so if I don't get anything for failed attempts... I'm just going to keep trying to do this until it tells me... I can't do it anymore, but... Once that happens, I want to see if my experience has gone any further. The biggest question for me would be, if I can't learn from failure, how am I supposed to level this up? Okay. I mean, it says 16, so... Now here's an interesting question. I'm gonna do another save. I'm wondering if I just rest in place. Again, it's not the most exciting way for me to do this stuff, but... The drawback that I'm running into here is that I don't... how do I put this? If there... Like, so my read on this is that this is... I guess it requires slightly more dexterity than the nest, but a seed doesn't strike me as a particularly large or difficult object. So it does invite some questions just in terms of... Oh, too impatient. Yeah, fair enough. You valiantly scrabble against the cliffed wall, but it looks like your climbing skill could stand some improvement. Perhaps there is some other way to get to your objective. There is, but I'm bad at that too. So it looks like that did cost me a little stamina, but I'm not going to complain about it because I need the practice. Although, I'm wondering if this means it'll let me rest now. Excellent. Again, this isn't like the best. I don't know, like I feel like there's better ways that I could be spending my time here, but it's largely a question of what I've sort of been told might be interesting or important in the game. There's definitely a couple of people I think it's indicated are time sensitive in terms of when they show up. Am I going to be able to get away with another 60-minute rest? Okay. And if I tucker myself out. Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, like it's given me it's dangled a few things in front of me in terms of possible activities. This is the most obvious one to me, but it's also the one where clearly I have, all right, I have a shortcoming. So, given that I can't go anywhere else now, I think probably there's two places that I haven't really investigated that carefully. One of them would be the castle. The other one would be where I think the wizard is, or, you know, whatever equivalent is. So I'm going to try and go to the castle, but I'm also sort of conscious of the time. So it may not be a bad time for me to sort of turn in and say, actually, yeah, fair enough. Gets me some money, right? Presumably, I would want, so I believe it's the centaur down below here. Presumably, at some point, I would want to practice the firebolt, but not, you know, not until I can actually, the centaur stops raking as you approach. Okay. The grass seems to grow well here. The gatehouse is a massive structure with a portcullis closing off access to the castle. You can't see much of the gatekeeper over the battlements. Tell me your name. Oh, your name, sir. My name is Carl. Tell me about the castle. This is the castle of Baron Stefan von Spielberg. Do you have a job? The stable keeper could use a strong young person to help clean out the stables. Does not pay much, but it is good, honest work. If you would like to take the job, come on in. Tell me more about these stables. Cleaning up after the horses is a good way to build up your muscles. What about the Baron? My lord sees no one since the loss of his son and daughter. Tell me about loss. 10 years ago, the Baron's daughter Elsa was stolen away by magic. 5 years back, the Baronet Bernard von Spielberg went on a hunt from which he did not return. This is all clearly part of Baba Yaga's curse. And Elsa? Elsa von Spielberg was a lovely young child with braided blonde hair and bright blue eyes like her mother, the Baroness, used to have. A large winged creature flew over the castle walls, grabbed Elsa, and vanished before the guards could fire upon it. We searched everywhere for her, but to no avail. Even the jester, Yorick, joined in the search for her. The Baron sent a troop of guards to storm Baba Yaga's hut, but I think their skulls sit atop her fence. Elsa von Spielberg would be about 18 now. Tell me about the hut. Baba Yaga has her hut to the northwest. It is a very dangerous place, and many baronial guards have been lost there. And the Baroness? The Baroness died soon after the birth of her daughter. The Baron still mourns her. Yorick. He was a very jolly fool who loved to laugh. He was devoted to Elsa and swore he would not return until Elsa was safe. What about Baba Yaga? A powerful ogress is the cause of all the Baron's misfortune. She's a vile creature who knows much magic. And the curse? The Baron ordered Baba Yaga to leave, and she first cursed the graveyard. When he then sent the baronial guards after her, only their captain returned to the castle. The captain spoke the words, "Hear me, O mighty Baron. Thou hast angered me, and thus you are cursed. All that you value shall you lose, and all that you treasure shall be taken from you," in a strange voice. The captain then dissolved into a pool of sticky blackness. And the hut? Baba Yaga has her hut to the northwest. It is a very dangerous place, and many... Okay, we've already got that. What about Bernard? Baronet Bernard von Spielberg was a proud young man. He had dark hair and eyes of his father, the Baron. He rode off one morning, and his horse returned without him. The horse had been raked by the claws of some large animal. There is a reward offered for the safe return of the baronet, but I fear he is dead. What's the reward? There is a reward offered for the safe return of the baronet and Elsa von Spielberg of 50 gold. For the capture or death of the brigand warlock, there is a reward of 50 gold. For the capture or death of the brigand leader, there is a reward of 50 gold and the title Hero of Spielberg. Do you need a hero? Hero of the Realm of Spielberg is a title of respect and honor. A true hero can release this land from its curse using his intelligence and courage. I think we already covered the Baroness. Yeah. I think the Baron... Yeah. Okay, what about the guards? The Baron von Spielberg lost most of his guards trying to defeat Baba Yaga. Just a minute while I raise the gate. Okay, so there's a bit more in here than I thought. The guard looks like he is either very tired or very lazy. I'm not here to answer your stupid questions. Go talk to Carl the gatekeeper. He talks to anyone about almost anything. There is no answer to your knock. The guards must all be asleep. What do we say to the god of death? Not today. The man has the muscles of a trained athlete and is apparently quite skilled with the sword. If you are addressing me, sir, you must respect me enough to address me to my face. Hello, Weapon Master. I am the Weapon Master, expert swordsman and trainer. Tell me about the sword. The sword is the finest of all weapons. It requires an equal measure of skill and strength. The skills of the sword are thrust, swing, parry, and dodge. Timing of such actions is critical to the success of the fighter. Practice is the way to refine and improve one's skills. Please don't bore me, young adventurer. Ask me about something more interesting. Tell me about fighting. Fighting is both an art and a skill. It is a skill in the use of muscle strength and the agility of control. It is an art in outwitting and outmaneuvering the opponent. I am, of course, the skilled artiste. Do you fight? However, the combat style I teach relies on the subtle alternation of strike and parry. As I observe that you have no skill in the use of parry, you would receive no benefit from my lessons. The brigands fight remarkably well for riffraff who have not had the benefit of my training. They are cowards who like to hide behind their shields, but I must admit that they do well. Should you find yourself face to face with one of the brigands, I suggest you mirror their techniques. Use parry or dodge until your opponent lowers his shield to attack, then strike before he can get his spear into attack position. I am a skilled teacher as well as a skilled fighter. However, okay, yeah. Tell me about the castle. This is the castle of Baron von Spielberg. I am the weapon master of the castle. The Baron had the wisdom to recognize greatness when I presented myself. Thus, he made me weapon master. The Baronet had some minor talent with weapons, but he was too impatient. If he had but listened and learned what I teach, he would never have been lost. And Elsa? A bright child for a girl. She used to watch me practice daily and question me constantly. Pity she was not born a boy. She would have made a talented swordsman, if I had trained her. I could not demean myself to teach a mere girl, of course. And the guards? You will find them very skilled at fighting. After all, I am the one who trains all the guards at the castle. And town? Please don't bore me, young adventurer. Ask me about something more interesting. I am curious if I give him money. Yeah, he's not going to want to do it. Well, there's the stables. In the stable, the manure is beginning to pile up. The Baron was once known for his many fine and noble steeds. Only a few aging animals remain in his stable. I mean, I've got plenty of stamina. I'm pretty sure there's something to do here. You looking for some work? Yes. Good. Come in here and take a rake. I don't pay you to rest. Get to work, now! Okay, come on over here. The stableman hands you some coins and says, "Now you're 5 silvers, Richard." Oh, that's interesting. Tell me about work. The work is simple. Just grab a rake and clean this place up. And pay? You get 5 silvers each time you clean the stables. We used to have some of the finest horses in the north, when the Baron still cared about things other than his troubles. Now we just have this one outside and the 2 in here. Ever since the trouble started, the Baron just hasn't been interested in his horses. Baronet. He used to be ride the black horse over there. Magic. Don't ask me about anything to do with magic. I don't want to know. Don't tire me with a bunch of questions. Can't you see what a hard life I have? Valley. Just get out and wander around a little. You'll find out. The stables? The old stable used to be twice the size before it burned down. This is fine with so few horses, but it is rather small. The guards? They don't bother me. I don't bother them. What about the monster? Those things scare me silly. And the Antwerp? Ha ha ha, hee, ho ho. All right. So I'm curious if I go in. Like, presumably I can't clean it again. Okay, no. The guard is dressed in worn but neatly patched clothing. He has obviously spent a lot of time maintaining that magnificent mustache, but you'd better not mention his bald spot. The guards look to be middle-aged, but in good physical condition. Their clothing is faded and patched. Even the horns look dull. Ask about the castle. This is the castle of Baron Stefan von Spielberg. The Baron's daughter has been gone for years. My name is Pierre. My name is Frederick. The barracks are off to my right, but you have no business going there. Don't get me mad. Pierre's very proud of his mustache, but don't mention his bald spot. I'm not talking to you. No one enters the castle without the Baron's permission. The Baron sees no one. The doors are securely locked and barred from the inside. Okay, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I know I'm a little early to finish, but this actually seems like a decent enough place to leave it. So a couple of tasks ahead of me for the next session. I will just mention again that I plan on taking the Easter weekend to myself, so don't plan for streams on on Friday and Monday. But if I feel up to it, I'll do it. It's just I could really use the time for myself, if I'm completely honest. So, yeah, I'm definitely unless I hear like people would rather see something different, I'm definitely open to doing more of this. I mean, we're 77 of 500, so there's presumably quite a bit of game ahead of us. I'm going to have to do some work just to sort of figure out exactly like what I can do. I don't think the fetch is definitely one of the lower cost spells. I don't think the game wants me to just constantly spam that whenever I have mana available. Presumably there are other ways that I can level that up. But of course the difference is, there's what the game developers had in mind, and then there's what I think I have available to me at the time. So I'll I don't know. I'll have a think. I'll see what's in front of me right now. I am actually quite happy that I got through most of the mapping. So at least here I'm making some decisions in terms of like where I can go, what I can do. A couple of the other threads that are in front of me would be the frost giant with the fruits and vegetables. So that might be something I want to follow up on. The catch here is that while I have that as an option to do, it's not clear how that gets me closer to leveling up the spell. The only way that I seem to be able to level up spells is to actually use them. So, with that in mind, I want to try and make sure that I'm moving towards, objectives I'm interested in doing. But on the other hand, it's not like there aren't other things for me to do. And the fact of the matter is that I generally don't like consulting guides for games. Like the thing is that I do enjoy sort of figuring these things out and enjoying the game for what it is, right? So a game I was thinking about playing tonight actually was Shadow Empire, which I was wrong. It's not a 200-page manual. It's a 400-page manual. So that's a nice meaty strategy game. It's one that will take me a while to learn. I could maybe even compare it to something like Dominions or Conquest of Elysium. And those are interesting to learn on their own because of, the challenge, right? It's nice to be able to just spend some time really coming to terms with a game like that. But I also do recognize, especially for the kind of old school adventure game, they just have a certain logic. In fact, I don't know if they were ever intended this way, but given the reference to like the companion, right? Like the official game guide, and like there were paid hint lines for at least some of these. The fact of the matter is that I suspect that some of the weird logic of this is like, you have a broad audience. You don't have the internet, right? You don't have the direct way of sort of consulting people. You don't have digital distribution. You don't have quite the same way of finding what your audience's level is. And so some of this stuff might just be completely daft because they just didn't know any better. Some of it could be quite difficult just because it is intended to be sold with, or not with, but like that people are supposed to go and pick up a secondary product to make it a little more palatable. There's any number of ways, but I think it would be fair to say that the expectations of a game like this are quite different from what I'm used to, right? For most games, I'm accustomed to something that will more or less explain how to play it without reading the manual. And there is actually apparently a small walkthrough at the end of the manual that I've hesitated to engage with. So, but I do give myself the option for these a chance to consult resources. One of those resources will be the manual itself. But on top of that, this game's old enough, and I think some of the fun is just to see where this all goes, that if I'm feeling particularly lost, I'll check online. I will take advantage of the fact that I'm in 2026 and just one of them youths who can't handle classic games. So anyway, that's it for me tonight. Last thing to do is just see if there's anyone online to host. We have a few. I think I will leave you in Washandless's capable hands. He is playing Horsey Game, which I have never heard of before, but Wshand is always good to hang out with. So thanks everybody for hanging out. I hope you have a nice weekend when you get to it. At the absolute latest, I will be back 1 week from now. Again, I won't necessarily make Quest for Glory my 100% main game. I may switch things up every once in a while, but I do intend to do this further. I figure we can see it through to the end, and if it's just I'm not quite feeling it for the game, What I may do is that if I'm not 100% on the game, I'll have a guide beside me, and then we can go through the rest of it. But I don't know. I'm not quite ready to. I'm not ready to give up on this yet. Just wanted to sort of set some expectations that in order to sort of preserve my interest, I will occasionally play something else, but my commitment is to make sure that we get to see the end of the story at some point. All right, have fun in Wish Endless, and until then, take care.